Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. So I have to tell you, I've been kind of like looking forward to doing this particular reading. And we're going to, of course, take a look at, Trump the week of. So that would be starting on the 23rd. Um, you'll be seeing this video on the 24th. And I want to take a look at how his week is going to go. And especially because, of course, the RNC convention is going to be going on for starting Monday through, I guess, Thursday. Oh, Lord, people, come on. They have the most exciting lineup of people that are going to be at this convention. So Mitch McConnell staying far, far away from it because, because he's, I guess, not completely politically stupid. But you got guest speaker for Monday, Don Jr. Come on now, that's top level there. You got Melania on Tuesday because she's got important things to say about. I think it's I don't even know what her title is. Then you've got Mike and Pence and his wife. Come on, this is exciting stuff. And Thursday you have Trump and Ivanka. So that's an exciting lineup. And they have some really special people who are, I guess, special guests of this. You have the pillow guy. Hey, he's got a lot of good stuff to say. Come on now. Scott Baio, I don't know, unless I'm wrong. I think the highlight of his life was that he played, what was that, Chachi on Happy Days? Is that the right guy? If it's not, it might be somebody else, but you get my drift. It was a while ago. Kid Rock, who I'm not sure exactly how he fits into the equation. You've got that couple who stood in front of their house with guns because they were being upset because Black Lives Matter people were walking past their property. And yeah, you got some good. Oh, and the doctor who thinks that, we're all having sex with aliens. It's going to be a fabulous week. Somebody in one of my comment section that they needed to pull out the popcorn. I'm thinking I need to pull out the hard liquor. I'm sorry, but this is going to be a heck of an event. I honestly can't tell you how much I'm going to watch of it because, my system can only take so much garbage. So there we go. So I want to look at Trump this week because I think it's going to be a very interesting week. And I want to take a look at how, what that looks like in terms of the convention. Because it just can't get any better. Oh, and if you haven't heard, the most exciting news. Okay, so Bannon was indicted. On Saturday, I heard that Trump has to pay Stormy Daniels $44,000 for her legal fees. So that's cool. It's like this guy, if it wasn't for bad luck, I swear he would have no luck at all. And the thing is every time something legal comes up around him lately, it just does not go well for him. It doesn't matter whether it's him personally or it is, the administration. So there's a lot of energy around him, frankly, that is not conducive to him being a happy camper. Some ways you got to feel sorry for the people in that inner circle who realize that he's completely out of control and they have to figure out how to make that work. Here we go. I'm going to stop rambling. But I thought it was really important, in case you missed it, that you understood what a amazing convention this is going to be. Come on down. I have a question. Okay, so here we go. Tell me about Trump this week, Trump this week, Trump this week. Here we go. Oh, there he is, charging ahead. He's going to charge ahead because that's what he does. That's all he knows how to do. And, nothing's going to stop him, right? He is trying very hard. There he is. He's trying really, really hard to get his base really, really riled up. He understands to some limited degree that he really is losing people and that he needs to do something to get that base fired up. And so that's exactly what this convention is going to be about. It is going to be spewing, hate and political nonsense and lies. And, you know, you've got the Democratic convention, which is about hope and moving forward and, you know, taking the country to a better place. And you're going to have Trump, who wants to take the country back to 1950, whatever. And, you know, he wants all people that aren't white to like go away, please. And he wants the white people that are supposed to be there, he wants them terrified. He wants them scared. He wants them to know that, you know, America is in a state of carnage. So I don't know. I'm thinking that's probably the first time there's ever been a political convention like that where the message was negative and harmful and hurtful and terrifying. But that's what he's going with. So you can anticipate hearing a lot of that kind of nonsense, even in the film clips, if you're, you know, you're not going to be paying attention to it. So this is the thing, behind the scenes, right? There is knowledge. There is an understanding that he really is mostly in his own world. He's mostly in his own bubble. And they're trying to figure out how to present everything in such a way so that he feels as if he's safe in his bubble. You know, this is the thing. Go back to that Jonathan Swan interview, right? It is very apparent with those, you know, him with those charts, right? That, you know, the United States is better than anybody in the world. Those charts about the coronavirus. He is being fed the information that is going to keep him calm, keep him thinking he's winning. And honestly, behind the scenes, they don't even care anymore if it's a flat lie. They just need to keep him from becoming any more unhinged. One of my favorites was I don't know if you all saw it, but it was a graph. It was a picture that Trump had flashed to that Jonathan Swan, and it showed, I think, 3 or 4 countries, and it showed that United States was in the best position. Okay, except when you actually looked, you know, found out where that graph came from, and then looked at the whole graph, it didn't. It was not. I mean, it just made the United States look good, kind of at the very, very bottom of the graph, but all the other countries that were doing so much better, he didn't see those. So he really is sort of being told stories that are going to keep him like calm. And that's like the big dirty secret behind the campaign. That's the big dirty secret in the White House. That's the big dirty secret in his administration. They can see the deterioration, and they're latched onto this guy, and that's how come they're stuck with him. And that's why you see kind of the Mitch McConnell people not hanging around. And so interesting, because I don't know that I've ever actually seen the Queen of Pentacles here as Melania Trump, but I absolutely do this time, right? To the king, his queen. And it sounds as if she really has her hands full. She is doing everything that she can to sort of keep the situation stabilized, or at least not from spiraling right out of control. There's a lot of people turning to her and sort of saying, listen, you know, get him under control. And honestly, she doesn't really have the ability to do it, but at least maybe she has a few tricks up her sleeve. You got to figure, being married to him for as long as she must have figured out a couple of different strategies for dealing with this guy. So it just is looking like she is actually playing rather a supporting role or a real significant role behind the scenes. I don't think it really has a lot to do with actually the re-election, as much as it simply has to do from keeping him sort of completely imploding. And so, you know, here's the tower, right? What a big surprise, right? And you've got the moon, so things being confused, things not being clear, things don't make sense. And that is going to pertain to the communications of the convention. So this is going to be the problem, right? day by day, they're going to do the convention. It's going to be a disaster. They're going to be compared in every moment to the the Democratic convention that was just held, which, has gotten glowing reviews like from every corner, I guess, except Trump, who spent his time watching that convention tweeting and shouty letters because he's impotent and has nothing better to do with his energy. He can't really get it out there in any way, so he uses Twitter. That just tells you all you need to know there. So you've got he's not going to be happy with the comparisons. It's not going to come together. And this is the thing, right? They're going to have people. This whole thing's like going on the White House lawn or something, which is ridiculous. I thought elections were supposed to really be kind of non-political in terms of their environments, things that they can say and not say. Well, apparently that rule book is like incinerated. So that's going on. But and there's crowds. There's going to be crowds there to ramp him up and get him excited. But I just don't feel as if it is going to quite do the trick. In fact, if anything, his speech could become even more unhinged. And what's sort of being said and going on. And this is the thing, just because other people are sort of front and center at the convention for the next several days, unless somebody literally takes his phone away and breaks both opposable thumbs, he's going to be out there on Twitter, right? So his message is probably not even going to always coincide exactly with what's being said, because he's like, he's gone, he's, he's just doing his own thing. Let me just say it that way. So this is not going to bode well. So the more he hears things that don't put him in a great light, the more erratic and loud and out there he is going to become. And what you have is a lot of Republicans who are not going to be attending this convention because they really don't support him. There's going to be, those few that are so far up, his butt, but a lot of them are not. They're going to be no-shows because honestly, that's in some way the only way they can not only one, save face, but two, not have to answer questions about lies that are being told, misstatements, erratic behavior from the president, crazy nonsense. And, they also, of course, do not want to have to be put in a position where they have to give their opinions and or support to those unbelievable headliners, right? Come on. Who doesn't want to jump up and try to support the wisdom of the alien person doctor, okay? In some ways, it almost looks as if his behavior, that sort of pushing ahead attitude, more information is going to be coming out about money and how it's being spent, and I suspect this has to do with the donations going into re-election campaigns, and the wall thing, the whole "We Build the Wall" with Bannon, that is also not going to die a quiet death. You're going to be hearing a little bit more about that going forward this week. So it really looks like, frankly, everything they're going to do is only going to cement the fact that they're really not able to shift their fortunes in such a way so that they can move out of this really turbulent water. They're really trying to get to a place of calm where they can come across as like actually having something to say, but they don't. And so they're going to try, and they're hoping that this switches the narrative and he can get a handle on it, he can figure out how to attack Joe, and he can go after Camilla. It's not going to work. Okay. He can't land a punch. And that's sort of part of, frankly, what's a little bit entertaining about how he reacts and what's going on. He can't land a punch, and he's not going to be able to this time. And honestly, for people like the average person who really just is trying to catch up on political news because you know what? Maybe they don't pay attention. Maybe they've been kind of busy. Maybe politics just isn't their thing. But we are at that place where people are, starting to think about the election come fall, and you've got these conventions, and so people are paying attention to them. And from what I've heard, a lot more people maybe are paying attention to them than normal, simply because of the format. Right? They're on TV. They're sort of compressed to a period of time. So again, we'll see what the Republicans come up with. But point is, people are tuning in. They're trying to get some clarity. They're trying to get some information. They're trying to figure out if, this is a campaign that they can get behind. If they watched Joe and Kamala's last week, well, now they have something to compare it to. Well, what they're going to find is confusion, no logical rhythm or sort of flow to what they're watching. They're going to hear a lot of people who say things that really don't make sense unless you are either that hardcore base of his, and that would include the QAnon craziness. Okay, so what they're hoping that they're going to hear, especially if they've been kind of out of the loop, is not what they're going to get. They're going to get confusion. They're going to get things that don't make sense. He's going to be ranting and raving in the background. And it is all going to create a situation where there's going to be, unfortunately for Trump, even more clarity about his really racist ideas and attitudes. And of course you can add, homophobic and all of it. But I'm saying the racism and the hate and the fear he's trying to stoke, it really feels like that's going to be front and center, and it is really going to turn people off. So again, if they're his rock hard base, that's really who he's appealing to, and that's all he is appealing to. Remember that he only cares about that base. And so other people who maybe weren't decided or weren't sure, and it's not a huge percentage, I think it's like 10 or 12% of the population is still sort of undecided. Um, so, you've got those people tuning in and trying to get some insight into what's going on politically in their country, and they're going to be literally presented with a gong show. That's it. It's just going to be a gong show. This whole situation really, really, it's not going to come together. They haven't had the time. They haven't had the direction, the focus to be able to put this thing together, because the problem is they know what their challenges are. They work very hard with them, but they cannot control the messenger. And the messenger is unbelievably ill-equipped for the job, for the position. He doesn't have the brain thrust. He doesn't have compassion and understanding. He doesn't have. And they're going to that is going to be really, really on display. The more that happens, of course, the more fighting goes on behind the scenes, the more he's on the phone yelling and screaming at people to get it done, the more he's like screaming at his donors to get on page and do what he wants. That's going to turn people off big time too. He is so desperate to hang on to the White House, and it literally, you're going to actually be able to smell the fear through the television screen. It's going to be that blatant that they are just grasping at straws, anything to hang on to that White House. It is not going to go well for them. It's just really, really not. There he is, doing his thing. And this is the thing, right? Remember this. When things get bad, Trump doubles down. He pushes back. So this is what's going to happen. And whenever he pushes back, he makes it worse, like 100,000 times worse every time. So what you're going to have is an event that is not going to be garnering really, really positive results, except probably on Fox News, I guess. And so what's Trump's response to that? Well, he's going to double down. He's going to get louder. He's going to get more aggressive. And that is again just going to have the effect of really turning off anybody who's still at that point trying to give them a bit of a fair shake or a fair chance or look at things objectively. Yeah, it's not, he's just going to be, he's got a lot of pages in this reading. So you're talking about a very young energy, immature, too spontaneous for his own good. Frankly, all of those kinds of things that we apply to Trump almost on a daily basis because he really is a 74-year-old child. And we know that. We know that not only because we witness him, we know that because Mary Trump basically said so in the book she wrote. We know, we've watched it for 4 years, and it's going to be even more on display. So isn't that just horrifying? The people that he's bringing around him, the people that he really thinks are going to hold some sway, like the crazy doctor and the pillow guy. So yeah, you know what? For that base, they're going to listen to him. They're going to lap it up like, cream for a cat. But the reality is it's not going to hit its mark. They're going to come off as being fringe. They're going to come off as being not well spoken, not cohesive. The energy from these guest speakers is going to be angry. They're expecting it to really ramp things up, but it doesn't feel like it's going to. It feels like all it's going to do is fire up the base, and everybody and anybody else will be turned off. And this is the thing. It's going to be really interesting to see how the networks handle some of this stuff, right? So you've got the alien doctor person on screen, and if she starts talking about, the fact that whatever it is she believes about COVID, that everybody's fine, and there it isn't a big concern, or whatever her story is, I've forgotten already, but it was nuts. What are the networks are going to do about that? Are they going to like literally start running banners under the screen saying this is wrong information? Are they just going to cut in? And I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how the networks ensure that all of the crap that is going to come spewing out of these people's mouths is actually corrected in real time. It's going to need to be done in real time, or they're going to have to cut away a lot. And make no mistake, Trump is in it for the money. Okay, for him, this is all about satisfying his ego, getting lots of money that they're not going to spend for the election, and they're going to funnel it into his pocket because he wants to reclaim his glory. He wants to go back to whatever he perceives as his glory days. And really, honestly, as it becomes more and more apparent that that's probably not what's actually happening this week, he's going to become more volatile, of course, and harder to deal with, because he's going to feel the judgment raining down on him. And the judgment is strong. It's coming from a lot of corners, and a lot of people are going to have had enough. I don't know how crazy it's going to get, but the energy I'm picking up on really does feel like people are just sort of flat rejecting what he has to say and how it's being said, and how it's being said by this apparent, headline of amazing people that are supporting him. It's just going to be flat rejection, and the rejection is going to be quite fierce. So I don't know if something specific happens, or there's a couple specific things that happen over the course of this convention, but it really feels as if he's going to get some serious blowback from it. And so he doesn't like the judgment. He doesn't like to feel judged. It upsets him. But unfortunately, that's what's happening. The world is watching, and really the world is done. They're done with him. Okay. You've got that small percentage of people who think he's, the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it is shocking to all of us that they have not figured out that they're gluten intolerant, but apparently they're not. And they just keep consuming this bile that comes out of him and those around him. But for honestly, the rest of the world, really kind of done, okay? Yeah, so that's kind of how that's looking like. So it appears as if the the convention is going to be, I want to explain. You know what it feels like? It feels like they're trying really, really, really hard to turn, what is that expression? Turn how does that work? Make a silk purse from a pig's ear. You can't do it. There's been too much damage, too much crazy, too much everything. And aside from that group of people who think he's astounding, the rest of the world is really, really done. And that's going to, I think, become even more apparent after this convention. And don't forget, early, tomorrow, I guess, is when kind of the new polls come out, right? So that's going to be really interesting because I'm sure the Biden-Harris ticket has experienced a real uptick. I know they got tremendous donations over the course of that convention. And so that's also going to go against Trump. And I here to tell you, there's going to be another couple more pieces of bad news coming out for him. Um, I'm not sure in what arena, but watch this week for some either legal decisions that don't go in his way or some more information that comes out that reflects really, really badly on him. And this is the thing. He can't be shamed, okay? But people see that he can't be shamed. And they're seeing the magnitude of the things that he can't be shamed about. And that in and of itself should be enough for some people to just give their head a shake and say, this is just so not right. Now, between now and then, okay, between Monday morning and, Friday night, do what you need to do, right? Keep yourself centered. Do things that get you away from the craziness. Pay only as much attention as you can tolerate. Don't absorb this stuff. You want to watch it sort of really objectively and not get sucked into the crazy, because it's like I keep saying, every week is going to get exponentially bigger and worse than the week that preceded it, because they're becoming more and more desperate, and he unfortunately is becoming more and more erratic. Okay, so you take good care of yourself, and I think we'll all get through the week a little bit better. But as I said, he's not going to have good news this week. There's going to be a lot of stuff that he hears, that he gets told, that comes out, that really isn't going to sit very well with him. And so you can just anticipate that kind of, the kind of nonsense that comes out of him. But honestly, the convention, yeah, that would be silk purse, sow's ear. Okay, yeah, not going to happen. It's not going to go over well, and it's anyways, I think you get the point. It's not going to be a great week for him. It's not going to be a great week for the people around him. And, pay attention to exactly how many Republicans are rah-rah running around during that period of time, because a lot of them are not going to be really front and center, and certainly not supporting him. They might be silent because that's their favorite trick, but there's not going to be a lot of real support coming his way from fellow Republicans. Okay. For those of you who are interested, tomorrow on Tuesday on the Soulprint Insights channel, there is another crystal video that Paul and I have done. Paul is the white dragon in the comment section, and it's called Crystals on Steroids. Some interesting information there. So maybe make a note of that. It'll come out tomorrow, and hopefully you will enjoy that as well. Thank you ever so much for the support. From my new subscribers, thank you, and welcome so much to Soulprint. For my established ones, you guys rock. You're amazing. For the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, they're all fabulous, and I am very, very appreciative. Again, if you're looking for a private reading, information in the box below. So, buckle up, buckle up. Until next time, take care, be well, and I'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.